The neuromuscular system is the next slide. So, here's the muscular system. So we have the anterior or frontal view and the posterior view, again, front and back. We're going to look at smooth muscle, cardiac muscle, skeletal muscle in this section. First, we're going to look at smooth muscle, which can be found in the digestive system, circulatory, urinary, and reproductive systems. It's controlled by autonomic nervous systems, so it means that you don't have to really consciously think about it. It's smooth in appearance, and it is involuntarily controlled, so this is involuntary muscle. The next one to look at is cardiac muscle. Cardiac muscle is found exclusively in the heart. Contraction of the heart is controlled by the sinoatrial node, which is a node in the middle of the heart, which receives electrical impulses, and it is striated or striped in appearance. It's also involuntary muscle. And finally, skeletal muscle, which is the muscle that you're most likely to come across in your career in the fitness industry. It's all attached either directly or indirectly onto the skeleton. It's controlled by the somatic nervous system, so we have to think about it. It's striated in appearance again, so it's striped, and it is voluntarily controlled. This is the actual makeup of a muscle. Again, as mentioned in previous slides, this is something you really have to look at and learn. So have a little look at it. You can see the tendon at the very back, and if you have a good look at this muscle, learn all the different names. They're a little bit strange for you at this point. And this often comes up in your anatomy and physiology exam, Unit 1. So make sure that you have a good understanding of the names of these different parts of the muscle. Next, we're going to look at the sliding filament theory, which is basically how a muscle contracts. So we have two filaments here. We have an actin filament and a myosin filament. There are myosin cross bridges that attach to actin filaments below them, and the actin is pulled in and the sarcomere, or the unit length, is reduced. This causes a muscle contraction. We're now going to have a little look at the neurological system, and this system consists of two primary divisions. We have the CNS, or the central nervous system, and the PNS, which is the peripheral nervous system. The central nervous system is made up of the brain and the spinal cord, where the peripheral nervous system is made up of everything else that controls muscle movement. Here we have what's known as the reflex arc. You'll see a little arc there. It's the central nervous system. We have a sensory receptor on the right-hand side and a sensory nerve. So basically, if you see the red bits in the middle of the spine there, those are from the CNS, and they're sending messages via the motor nerve, and the muscle responds to nerve impulses. So when electrical message is sent to the muscle will either contract or whatever you may be wanting it to do at the time. So you can see when these motor nerves via the central nervous system are initiated, there will be flexion of the elbow in that particular instance. We're looking at muscle fibre recruitment now. So this is motor units and muscle fibre recruitment. An actual motor unit consists of a motor neuron and all the fibres it innervates. So this is one electrical impulse which controls a number of muscle fibres in one bunch, if you like. This brings about the all or none law. So it's impossible to partially contract a muscle fibre. So a muscle fibre either contracts to 100% or it doesn't contract at all. So, in other words, a whole motor unit of muscle fibres will contract to 100% or they won't contract at all. The more muscle units that are contracted for a task, the greater the force that will be developed by those units.